Hey guys, Morgana here. Just wanted to show you my build. Uh, Currently I'm playing with a rapid fire rogue. I've been really enjoying this build. It's mostly based on Wudijio's build. Um, you can go check his build, his original build. I'll put a link down in the description. But I modified it just a little bit to my liking. Nothing much to it. I just wanted to make a ranged rogue because I felt like it was a really fun playstyle. I've been also playing with flurry rogue. I've been having a lot of success with that one, but so far I just really wanted to play with rapid fire. The best thing about this build, in my opinion, is the fact that I am basically not really using any basic skill. And this is only possible thanks to the very, very infamous exploit glyph. More about the glyph later. So what I'm doing is I'm running Shadow Imbuement, Shadow Clone, Concealment, Dash, Cold Imbuement, and Rapid Fire. So basically what we're doing here is at the start we want to take Puncture and Enhance Puncture. This is just because, you know, you got to take it. When you're leveling, it's nice to have Fundamental Puncture. If you're planning on leveling with this build, I'll give you a couple of tips on how I think it is possible. I did level with this build, although my version of leveling with this build was basically a trap version of it. So I was running Puncture, Enhanced Puncture, Fundamental Puncture, and then I was going deep into Poison Trap, Enhanced Poison Trap countering. I was taking some of the Poison speed bonuses, also the Trap passives like Concussive. I was doing a little bit of Trap Mastery, and then I was basically going into Exposure and Death Trap, of course. Leveling with this and Rapid Fire was really good because I could just basically dash straight through a pack of mob. I would just, you know, do the typical Poison Trap, Death Trap combo. I would dash away again, Rapid Fire the whole group down if they were not dead already, which they probably were. And leveling like this along with Fundamental Puncture was like a breeze, you know. I had absolutely no issues. So that is like the leveling route if you want to take it. Basically, you know, plays itself. I think at this point we're all familiar with that. But what I'm doing with this one is just, like I said, first 2 in Puncture. I'm taking 5 in Rapid Fire, going to improve the Rapid Fire, which is the main skill of the whole build. It's what enables the build. It says that you gain 15 energy per cast of Rapid Fire when it damages a vulnerable enemy. So why is this so important? It's important because basically this is the way that with the exploit glyph, you basically just keep getting energy back. What does exploit say? Exploit is a glyph. It says when an enemy is damaged by you, they become vulnerable for 3 seconds. This cannot happen more than once every 20 seconds per enemy. Basically what we're doing is we're playing around with this build and other effects that are going to also make enemies vulnerable in case we don't just one-shot them on the first go. And we're always basically having vulnerable on enemies. This is for the first 3 seconds. We have other abilities that allow us to keep having vulnerable on them. I really don't have any fights that go on longer than 8 seconds or something, so even when it's a really tough boss, we apply vulnerable 2-3 times with skills like Concealment and Shadow Imbuement again, and we're good to go. We're just kind of almost one-shotting, one-man arming through everything, so, you know, that's what it is. So back to Rapid Fire, you're gonna want to take Improved Rapid Fire. Then of course you're kind of forced to take these even though you're a ranged character. I feel like a lot of times you end up being very close up to the enemies anyway. So you're gonna want to Sturdy and Siphoning Strikes. What you also want to have is 3 in weapon mastery. This is mandatory. Whether you're using crossbow or bow, it's insane damage. Dash, of course, it's good to have this discipline dash, enhanced and disciplined, because it's nice to be able to daze your enemies. I've been also playing a lot around with some of the aspects. Now I'm not using them anymore. The ones that would stun enemies when you daze them. It was pretty cool, fun. Regardless, the daze is cool when you're doing the double dash. I feel like it's a good addition, even just if you're slowing your enemies. It combos well with other things in the build. We're gonna be going into that later. Concealment. Now, I could have, and you can pick up Shadow Step. Up to you. It's really useful. It has a really low cooldown. Has really good aspects like the double Shadow Step aspect. I mean, I just felt like I really wanted another source. Especially because I'm still level 73, I just want another source of vulnerable. And a lot of people use Poison Trap. Wudijio himself uses Poison Trap, of course, really strong, chance to reset your imbuement, all the trap synergies. But I did like Poison Trap way more when I was leveling up and when I was playing the previous build with Death Trap. Currently, I do not like to play Poison Trap in this build, and the reasoning behind this is that I don't like to be close to enemies unless I'm really forced to. I have some passives, I have some things for when I am close to them, but for the rest, I don't like being close to them, which is the same reason I have Shadow Step. I didn't pick up Shadow Step, I mean. I don't want to be close to enemies. I want to be as far away as possible. Concealment is really good. Not only it gives you 40 energy when you pick up enhanced stealth, but also skill that breaks concealment makes enemies vulnerable for 6 seconds. This is insane on bosses. I mean, I've been melting the butcher, like, I'm talking like 5 seconds, just going through like the poor guy, just completely annihilating him, just standing still, doing absolutely nothing other than holding down rapid fire and then just like spamming Shadow Clone and concealment and my imbuement, and he's gone. Anyway, more about the combo later. So yeah, this is what allows us to be unstoppable, so we can get out of CC. It allows us to just get out of any sticky situation, really, gain the energy that we need, and apply vulnerable on demand, which I really love. I think this is invaluable. There is a point for maxing the skill out. I haven't done so. I didn't really feel the need for it yet. I think I might have the need when I go a little bit more up in the in Iron Nightmare tiers, but for the moment, 1 is good enough. Of course, we're gonna pick up Exploit. I mean, I don't think I need to tell you why this is mandatory. And of course, also Malice. This is great damage. I'm also running Precision Imbuement. Imbued skill gain 9% increased critical strike chance. This is very important for the build. We are very, very reliant on critical strike chance. We want to crit as much as we possibly can. So, yeah, just get it. Shadow Imbuement, you're going to want to max this one. This is really important for your clear. Rapid Fire is a skill that is really good at single target damage, but it's really lacking on those AoE situations. So you're gonna wanna pick up Shadow Imbuement. I also decided to go with blended Shadow Imbuement. The explosions make enemies vulnerable for 2 seconds. It's really important. If you're going in a big pack, this is going to ensure that you're just exploding everyone. Another really good reason to go for this is that I sometimes use this to reapply vulnerable. Of course, with all the vulnerable applications we already have, there's a point for mixed Shadow Imbuement to be better. You do gain some damage by picking this one up, but honestly, it's not like we're doing a lot of non-physical damage anyway, and I would rather have the reapplication of vulnerable. Just to be sure, sometimes I incur in very annoying packs of enemies, the ones with the little shield icon on top. Those ones, extremely annoying. Sometimes you don't manage to get exactly to the one that you need to kill in order to kind of like make the other vulnerable, so they have a shield on, and it's horrendous. So with this one, no problem, making everybody vulnerable again. You can make them vulnerable again with this, you're all good. Then cold imbuement, very, very, very important skill to have. I maxed this one out because of the chill effect. I want to be able to freeze as all the elites I have, and this is incredibly strong. I mean, whenever I'm in a sticky situation, I use this almost as a defensive. If there's an elite that's trailing you, if you want to get away from a situation, if you have concealment on cooldown, this is really, really good. Can just blast them into one elite, you're gonna freeze him or her 100%, and it's really, really good even with bosses, because you see you have lucky hit chance. This can make enemies vulnerable again. So basically on bosses, even if the boss keeps going, you have like, you always have vulnerable on, so you're just like shooting like a machine gun. So we're taking 5 on cold imbuement, enhanced cold imbuement, and mixed cold imbuement. Another one I'm picking up is Frigid Finesse. The reason I'm picking up Frigid Finesse is that I have Penitent Greaves, which are best in slot. But if you don't have them, feel free to take something like Stutter Step, which I find is kind of really nice with the build, you know, it makes you faster. I'm saying this because probably if you don't have the points in, if you don't have Penitent Greaves, I mean, you probably also are at a stage where you don't have a lot of movement speed on your gear. You're maybe a bit earlier in the stage in the game, and you could really use the movement speed. I feel like I really like movement speed in this game. I really like it on the rogue. You know, it just, if you're faster, you're more efficient, and you know, it's just nice. So yeah, if you don't have Penitent Greaves, feel free. I mean, don't use Frigid Finesse. Use something else. If you are using cold imbuement, I would say use it anyway. This is going to be really good towards bosses. Not that you need it, because you're going to be blasting them anyway. Then after, we're going to pick up Shadow Clone, Prime Shadow Clone, and Supreme Shadow Clone. This is really good. Double your damage. I'm also running a Legendary. Currently running Legendary? Unique. Unique Gloves, Grasp of Shadow. Really good item. This is also because I haven't honestly found any good gloves yet. And I had these ones, and I think they rolled pretty nicely. And so, yeah, I'm using basically, it says damaging a vulnerable enemy with a marksman or cartridge skill has a 28% chance to summon a Shadow Clone that mimics your attacks. So not only I'm doing my Shadow Clone with the skill, I'm also randomly summoning a Shadow Clone, and this one also gives you plus 15 Shadow Clone damage. So basically my Shadow Clone damage is absolutely through the roof. You want to use this when you want to just like shred through bosses, packs of elites that are being very difficult. We got a couple synergies going on in the Paragon Trees with this one. We're going to be explaining a little bit more later. Then we're picking up Adrenaline Rush, just 1 point to get to Haste. Haste is really nice. While at or above 50 maximum energy, gain 15 increased movement speed, which is almost basically always with this build. So we have 15% movement speed all the time. This is great. While below 50 maximum energy, gain 15 increased attack speed. We don't really care about this. It doesn't really happen that we lose, that we go below energy that often, but just in case it does, you're gonna have this. And then we're picking up our key passive, Precision. Critical strikes with marksman skill grant you precision. You gain 4% increased critical strike damage per stack of precision, up to a maximum of 20%. When you reach maximum precision, your next marksman skill is a guaranteed critical strike that deals 40% increased critical strike damage, then consumes all stacks of precision. And basically this is the whole reason we're running this build, and we are not using any basic skills, and we're like I said, when you're leveling up, you want to go more, I would consider more going into the exposure route with the traps and everything else. The reason we're not running traps, the reason we're running precision, we're not running any main skills, basic skills, is that basically we want to just stack precision. We don't want to waste our precision stacks and critical strikes on basic attacks, because they're very lackluster, I feel. So basically, yeah, you know, you're just craning down everything. So Before going into the Paragon trees, very quickly into what stats are going to be important for the build and what kind of items you're going to be looking for. So for helmet, currently I have cheats aspects. This is quite good. It says you take 23% less damage from crowd control enemies, which is almost everybody. Remember, it goes also with Penitent Greaves. Basically everybody's crowd controlled by you when you are in range with Penitent Greaves, so you take 23% less damage from enemies that are close to you in a way also, and enemies that you have shielded with your cold imbuement and everything else, so that works out pretty well, I think. You also gain 15% movement speed when they deal direct damage to you, so that's great. Helps you get out of sticky situations. For chests, we're doing critical strikes with marksman skills have to 54% chance to grant a free dark shroud shadow. This is really good. I mean, you're gonna be critting constantly. You're gonna always have this up. I always have 2 or 3 up, sometimes 5. This is really good. For gloves, like I said, have Grasp of Shadow. For pants, I have these ones. Of course, I have Disobedience. Everybody's running Disobedience. You gotta run Disobedience. I have a very low roll. I haven't been able to find any higher roll on this character yet. When I will, I'll just put them on. You gain basically increased armor for 4 seconds when you deal any form of damage, stacking up to 45%. This is incredibly easy to trigger. You're always doing damage. You always have armor up. Penitent Greaves, like I said, you leave behind a trail of frost that shields enemies. You deal 10% more damage to shield enemies. This is what's going to give you the crowd control to all your close enemies, because basically slowing and chilling counts as a crowd control, and this is what's going to be helping you. It's defensive, it's offensive, it does everything for you, it even makes coffee for you. Anyway, accelerating choker is really important. Critical strikes with core skills increase your attack speed by 24%. You're always critting with your core skill, so you're always having more attack speed. This is great. For ring, we're doing corruption. Your imbuement skills effects have increased potency against vulnerable targets. Everybody's vulnerable. We're always attacking vulnerable enemies. Basically means that all of our imbuement skills get plus 20%. Vengeful Loop, making an enemy vulnerable, has up to a 46% chance to grant 2% increased critical strike chance for 3 seconds, up to 9%. We're always making enemies vulnerable again, so you can see the synergy here building up. You're always basically having this up. It's just 9% critical strike chance. So what are the stats that we're looking for? Oh, sorry, I forgot actually, just before, I forgot the weapons. So I'm running a bow. I would actually suggest you to use a crossbow with this build. I think crossbow is much better for the build. This is because crossbows can basically... they roll with vulnerable, they always run with vulnerable attached to their first affix, so they can double roll vulnerable, which is your main source of damage. Vulnerable is also in its own bracket in regards to damage, so you want to stack as much vulnerability as possible. But I had no chance, no luck, no good crossbows for me. The last one I had was a sacred one that I've been running up until this point, but I found this one. This one basically gives me more vulnerable damage on its own than the crossbow that I had, so it's the reason I'm running this one. It works out quite well in the end, because bow has got a little bit of a faster attack time, so that feels pretty nice with the build. You can really like aggressively rapid fire into bosses and enemies, so that's great. But you also have damage to distant enemies, which is not bad. It's not really good either. I wish there were some changes to this. It's a bit wonky. It's hard to stay really distant from enemies, especially in certain dungeons, but if you're managing to stay distant from enemies, this is really good. Anyway, you want to be looking for the rapid fire aspect. This is the most important aspect for the build. It's what allows the build to be really good in AoE situations. It basically says rapid fire has an 84% chance to ricochet to another target. Now you want to be putting this aspect only, and I repeat only, either on your two-hand weapon, so on your bow or crossbow, or on your necklace. You want to be doing that because you're going to get double the bonus. If you put it on a ring or any other piece of gear that you can put it on, it's not going to give you double the bonus, it's just going to give half. So that's not good. You want to have as high of a chance to do this. You want to almost every time you're shooting into enemies, you want to be you want to make it be that rapid fire basically ricochets to other targets. So very important. I would not suggest running this build without it. Again, you're probably gonna find it fairly easily. If not, roll for rings at the obols at the curiosity vendor guy. Anyway, the other two, I'm using swords. Very important. Use swords. I have this one. Smithing, basically you have 20% increased critical strike chance against injured enemy. This is insane, just helps you finish off enemies really fast. And while you're healthy, you gain 40% increased crack control duration. Not bad, just a good plus. And then you have Edge Master here. Basically you deal more damage based on the resources that you currently have. We're almost always top resources with this build, so this means like almost a flat 14% increased damage. It also stacks if you increase your energy. So if you have some like consumables and some potions to increase your energy, you're gonna see more damage with them. Now back to the stats. What stats are we looking for? So of course we're gonna be looking for vulnerable. We really need that. We're gonna be looking for core skill damage. That's really important. Another really important status for me, at least, is movement speed. I would always try to find movement speed on boots. If you have Penitent and Greaves, it's just there. If not, try to have boots with movement speed. For pants, you want to try to roll affixes like affixes like life, damage reduction. So for example, this one, very happy with. You have damage reduction from close enemies, damage reduction, maximum life. The imbuement skill cooldown reduction is, I've been rolling this thing I don't know how many times at the occultist, but no luck. I didn't manage to get any good ones, so decided to stick with this one in the end. I also it got so expensive now I almost cannot reroll this one anymore, so I'm waiting for some ancestral ones. I've been really unlucky with the drops on this character. Anyway, you want to be looking for damage reduction and life on your legs. On your gloves, you want to be looking for ranks to your core skill. So you want to be looking for ranks to rapid fire. In this case, I'm using a unique, so it's +1 to all my core skills. Not that good. I wish I had some other gloves. These ones are serving me very well. They have more attack speed. They have vulnerable damage. They're also not that bad. This one, chest, I would also say try to go for damage reduction. Very important to have life on chest. And on the helmet, I would say try to run or find shadow imbuement ranks or anything like they can. It's really good for imbuement. So either, I would say shadow imbuement. Don't really go for chilled, the chilled one, the frost one. I think that's one of the weakest skill in our arsenal. So it's really good, but it's more of a help for you. The shadow imbuement is gonna be a lot of your damage. So try to get the +3 ranks of shadow imbuement, +2, +1, depending on what you get. What is really important from the helmet is that you either get life, which I didn't manage to find, or cooldown reduction. In this case, I have 8% cooldown reduction. I really like that, so try to get that. On your neck, you want to try to find life. You want to try to find movement speed or attack speed. In this case, we have movement and some attack speed after killing elites. This one is kind of shit. I wish I found another one. On rigs, it's very important that you roll critical strike chance, because it's just, you need to have it, critical strike chance, and you need to have critical strike damage on your rings. Critical strike chance and critical strike damage are two of your most important skills. I think you have basically vulnerable and then critical strike chance and damage right after them. These are your 3 main damaging stats. So your rings must have vulnerable, quick strike chance, and quick strike damage. I have overpower on this one, unfortunately. Really bad. I really don't need that. It is what it is. And on this one, I could find some maximum energy. Ideally, this would have been almost perfect. Like, look, 28 vulnerable damage. That's insane. 31 critical strike damage. Absolutely insane. 6% critical strike chance. Really good. Maximum energy, not bad, not good. We're getting some return on it, but I think overall it would have been a bit better if I rolled something like, say, what was it? Not cooldown reduction, but like cost reduction. I think rings, if I remember correctly, can come out with cost reduction. That would have been really nice. Try to get that. If you get that, very nice. So now that we talked gear, we talked a little bit of aspects, your main stats. You want to run preparation, of course. I completely forgot about the specialization. Sorry, guys. You want to run preparation. Every 100 energy you spend reduces your ultimate skills cooldown by 4 seconds. Using an ultimate skills resets the cooldown of your other skills is really important because, I mean, Shadow Clone, really strong. It's going to make you unstoppable, so you can even use it to get out of sticky situations. This is going to help you reduce the cooldown on Shadow Clone because it's really long. With this, the way we play our build, you're gonna have it up every 20 seconds. really fun. Now, in your Paragon build, you're gonna wanna follow it. I'm not gonna go into 100% details, but you're gonna basically wanna go up until here. You're gonna wanna put Ranger in the first one. Remember to level up your glyphs. It's really important. It's gonna get your damage up incredibly. Get all the passives. You want to get 40 dexterity in range to activate the glyph. Don't forget about it. It's very important. Don't forget to pick up this 5% more damage node. Important to pick up Lawless also. It's going to give you more armor, a little bit more survivability. And yeah, you go up. Your second glyph is going to be Exploit. This is the reason you're running a build. This is your build enabler. It's going to make everything you hit vulnerable. Very mandatory. Level up this one as fast as you can. It's really important. Don't forget to pick up all the strength nodes around it to activate it, and also training, not bad. A little bit more life, knowledge. And then you're gonna want to go up to Ruin, which is more damage to healthy enemies, which is really important because this is what's gonna basically allow you to just annihilate everybody. When you just first see them, they just evaporate. And no witnesses. No witnesses is really good. Helps with your ultimate skills. They do more damage and they grant you 10% increased damage for 20 seconds when cast. So basically, you're ending in this perpetual cycle of you're using Shadow Clone, and you're popping all of your other cooldowns, and then you're spending all of your resources into rapid fire, and then basically you can do it all over again. And so basically you have no witnesses up, I would say 50 to 60% of the time, which is quite insane. It's 10% more damage basically. Really nice. You're gonna want to pick up the potion there up, and then when you go here, you're gonna pick up combat. Combat is also really nice. More critical strike damage, core skills. Like I said, critical strike damage, very important, one of our main stats. So don't forget to go for it. Right now, what I want to do is I want to just keep going down here. I want to get the other exploit node, and then I want to get all the way to here, exploit weakness. Whenever you deal damage to a vulnerable enemy, they take 1% increased damage from you for 6 seconds, up to 15%. So this is what's going on for the moment. This is what I've been playing around with. Of course, oh, actually, I think I might have forgotten. For gems, you're gonna want to put what's the name of them? The orange ones in your gear slots for damage reduction while control impaired. This is really important. It's one of the only times you'll really be dying. It's when you're control impaired. So having damage reduction is OP there. Really important. Upgrade them, put them in. Some people run life. Life is also good. I like this one more. And then you can run, not you can run, you must run in your weapons, in all of your weapons, you must run critical strike damage to vulnerable enemies, the emeralds. Very, very important. For your jewelry instead, you're gonna wanna have skulls, they give you more armor, no brainer, really good stuff. And so yeah, that's pretty much the build. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you have more questions. I'll likely be making other videos soon where I showcase maybe some nightmare dungeons so you can see how the build runs. And yeah, that's it. Oh, game connection has been lost. Damn, guys, it is what it is. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Cheers. Ciao.